and welcome to Visuals at Work. My name is Diane Bleck, and I am your host. And I'm so excited to be coming in here live on a Saturday morning to connect with you and talking about the power of using visuals at work. So this is our 26th episode. I'm kind of considering this a pause, and this is season 2. I've been off for the summer. I've been enjoying time with my kids. I've been painting. If you've been following me on Instagram, I see some friends joining. Hi. Drop some love in the comments. This is being broadcast in a couple of different places because I've decided I really enjoy spending Saturday mornings with you and thinking about the powers of visuals and visual thinking and visual facilitation. And I've got some really fun stuff to share with you today. So what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about an event that I just participated in where I took visual notes. And let me show you my visual notes. So I took visual notes on my iPad. And it's one thing to see the notes, but it's another thing to kind of go through them together. So we've got this camera view where you can see my hand and drawing. And then I have another camera view where you can just see the drawing on itself, but you can still see where I zoom in on things. So I want to show you, like, there's a whole new studio setup. There's a whole new way that we're going to be talking about this kind of live visuals at work broadcast. So thank you for joining me on this Saturday morning. Leave your comments and your questions down below, and I will get to them after. I'll try to get to a couple of them during our session today. But today I wanted to talk about this event I was just a part of. I went to participate in Tony Robbins and Dean Graciosi's Time to Thrive 5-day challenge. And I took visual notes because there was an incredible speaker lineup. There was some amazing content as well as knowledge being shared. And it's a great opportunity for me to take my visual notes, but also to kind of fine tune my own business, fine tune where are the places in my life that I'm not just wanting to survive, I want to thrive. And so I want to not only show you my notes, but I want to break down what was I thinking as I took these notes. So let's head over and look at the notes some more. So this is just pre-session. I was listening to some of Dean Graciosi's pre-session conversations he was having in the group, and he was talking about this is our time to thrive. Maybe you want to go to the next level. Maybe you want more freedom. Maybe you want to do your own thing. Maybe you want to work from home, grow your business, or increase your impact. So just this little section of the notes right here, this little middle section, let me show you what I was doing. So let's add a new layer, and I'm going to turn that layer off. And then I'm going to turn on a drawing assist grid. And I think I'm just going to do my sketching in a blue to show you. So as I was listening to these conversations about time to thrive, I couldn't help but think of time and think of a clock. And what does that clock represent? So as I started to approach my visual notes, I started with a circle. So let's start with just a little circle. And if I hold down my pen, it makes a nice little circle. I started to think about this image of a clock. Right? And then I started thinking about time to thrive. So there's a time that's going on now that's coming in to the clock. And then there's elements that are coming out of the clock. So it's this kind of intake, outtake. It's this flow. It's this transfer. Hi, I see more of my friends joining. It's this flow and transfer of information going into time. But let's take a closer look at that clock. So as we look at the clock, I started to think, I don't want to just draw a clock. I want to draw, let's get my little pen again. I want to draw me holding the minute hand and the hour hand of the clock in my hand. I want to think about if I'm putting in 5 days. I listened to this challenge for 5 days. It was multiple hours. There were amazing, great speakers there. But I thought, in this time to thrive, I want to put myself in that clock. And I want to think of myself holding that minute and that hour hand and taking the time to stop It's effort to attend a challenge like this. I've got kids at home, we've got doctor's appointments, we've got all kinds of things, right? Other moms in the place that have like doctor's appointments, and you've got to get your teeth, you've got to do your teeth cleaning, and you've got to get your eyes examined, you've got to get new glasses. I'm in the middle of getting my new glasses. And so there's all these things going on. But like when that challenge came on at 1 o'clock Central Time, it's 11 o'clock, I think, on the Pacific Coast. I wanted time to stop, and my kids knew for those 5 days, time stopped, and mom listened to those conversations, and I was capturing information. And what's neat about these types of conferences is it's about who you are. How do you want to show up for this conference? How do you want to listen to these speakers? And what do you want to take from it? How do I'll say how do I want to take a lesson from here that helps me with their theme that they were talking about, not just survive, but thrive. So my drawing became this little clock, and it became me in the center of the clock. So let's take another look at this little drawing. So you've got this little person in the center, and I'll go to this view so you can see it, and I'll turn off all the layers. So you've got this little person, and it's me. I'm holding the hour hand and the minute hand. And then I've got these two little icons in the center. So let's add another little layer so that I can draw on it and you not, and I'm going to be able to draw on this. So look, I've got this little crown here, and I've got this little heart here, but because it's on a new layer, look, I can erase it and not be damaging my drawing. Okay. So I've got this little crown and this little heart. And to me, it was about what is the time, what is the heart work that I want to put into this? And the little crown just represents that kind of like next level, like where do I want to take my life to that next level? And then let's look at some more. So then down here, I started just listening to what were some of those key phrases that Dean was using that I could anchor with a visual icon. So what success leaves us clues. So I drew a little looking glass, right? Bring a pencil and capture your big ideas. I loved it every time that Dean said that, because I'm all about visual thinking. I'm all about visual learning, and I'm all about processing. When you put pen to paper, these neurons between your brain and your heart and your hand connect, and you're able to get those ideas, those insights, those inspirations, right? And you're able to take those notes. So every time he talked about like, get out a pen and paper, write your notes, I just know there's magic in that. And then I shared all my visual notes inside this community of almost 1 million people going through the challenge. And people were commenting like, I love these notes. These notes are so awesome. I don't have to take notes. And the thing is that you still should take notes, because there's something that happens when you take the notes. So let me tell you a little bit more about what was happening for me as I took the notes. So grab your pencil, right? So I drew the little pencil here, playful out. And I just love these little hearts of like playful out. Put all of your love into this. Invite your friends and family. Make time to participate. And then it was talking about what can you do with your life? Like, how can you go to that next level? Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to create a course. Maybe you want to build your own community, right? So on the bottom, I started capturing those icons. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to create a course. Maybe you want to build your own community. Maybe you want to launch a VIP weekend. How can you give and love and serve more? And then one of the main themes they were talking about that I just loved was, how can you transform your mess into your message? How can you transform your mess into your message? Because we all are processing life. We're all going through elements of life, and we think, oh my gosh, why me? Why this? Why now? But what if you thought about why me? Why this as a gift? What if this was part of you going through this mess could become your message for others? And I drew a little trash can, because it's like, oh, sometimes it just feels like the garbage, the mess of our life. But how does it become our message? So look, let's go to this one. How does this little garbage here, how does that turn into our message? And I drew this little envelope with little wings on it, because I thought about like, how does that become an invitation to the world of join me. I can help you with this mess to turn it into something awesome. So that's a little bit of these visual notes, but let's look at it some more without all my little all my little scribbles on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to take this layer and turn it off. And we're going to go back to our full screen, take those layers off. I'm going to turn off that little grid on the background. And here's the page of notes. And one of the questions I got was like, how do you take notes so quickly? Because every time a speaker was done, the notes, I posted them immediately in the Facebook group. And it's funny because everyone's like, you must be taking notes so fast. You must be drawing so fast. But the thing is that when you listen deeper, not just like try and be a scribe or a court documenter and capture everything. When you listen deeply for like, what are those little nuggets? Because he said a ton. This is an hour's work of speaking. What are those little nuggets that help remind me of what I felt like during that presentation? And that's why I think my notes are so powerful, is because I'm truly listening for how does this speaker resonate with me and my heart, and how do I share and capture that in these little messages as a reminder for me of what I was listening for, and what are those little messages that are going to be the reminders, the whispers in my heart of what I want to build and what I want to grow next. So when it comes to doing this, I do this for all kinds of events. I've drawn for Google, for Coca-Cola, for we've had teams into NASA, like all over the world, right? We've drawn these visual notes, and people love these visual notes. And this is called visual facilitation. It's a skill. It's something that we teach. I have a free visual notes workshop on my website that you can download. It's play at your own pace, because we are play at your own speed, because we know people follow us from around the world. So you can download that at any time and watch just the basics of some of the top icons that I draw. And then we also have a 2-day fundamentals workshop that we teach twice a year, and a 3-day intensive. And the thing is that this is a skill that anyone can learn. And what I want to do is, by peeling back these notes like we did today, this morning, I mean, we've just spent 12 minutes together. I don't want to take up your whole Saturday. But I hope by kind of pulling back my thinking on these notes, it helps you to think through, like, what are you listening to? What are some notes that you can think about making visually? What's something you can take away? So I want to leave you with this. I want to leave you with one takeaway from the lesson of just this one page of notes, that maybe you can grab a pen and paper right after this, and you can take your own little notes and have your own little aha, and start to put together those thoughts, those icons, and create some meaning together. So let's head over to the board. And what I want to do is I actually want to play with this. Success leaves clues. So let's create a new little blank board. So I'm going to add a new blank board, and I'm going to turn that board off. And real quick, I'm going to get a little black pen, and I'm going to add a little drawing guide underneath, and I'm going to add a little circle, and then I'm going to add another circle inside of that, and then I'm going to bring out what looks like a rectangle shape, add some little lines, maybe a little highlight, right? So we've got our little looking glass, and then let's write. Success leaves us clues. And on a piece of paper, I want you to draw this. Add a little frame around the border. Add your little looking glass. Write this little message: success leaves us clues. And then just make a little list of how are some ways that success has left you clues, right? Maybe success is someone's book that they wrote and they left that as a clue for you. Maybe it's a book that you discovered when you were 18 years old and it was the thing that gave you the courage to take some big, bold action. Maybe success left you clues in terms of a PDF or something like that, that you've downloaded and you've gone through this workbook and it's been transformative. Maybe success was an interview that you heard from someone. Maybe success was a story from a family member that inspired you and your life. But just make a little note, take a little time, and think about, where does success leave you clues? And I'll tell you what, on my email list, I'll send out this as a little worksheet. Maybe you're like, I don't want to draw right now. I'm not a big drawer. But gosh, if you just gave me that little template, I'd print it out and I'd jot down a couple of things, and then I could hang it on my wall or hang it in my office and just think about it this week. Think about, how has success left me clues? So I hope you enjoyed. It's so fun to see people here. Thank you for joining me. I know this was kind of last minute to launch this as a new Saturday morning thing, but thank you for joining me. I'll send this out in an email later today so that you can download it. If you're not on my email list, the best way to get on my email list is to sign up for the free little visual notes challenge. And again, it comes with a short series of videos that you can watch. It has a great PDF printout of my top 50 icons and favorite layouts. And you'll get on the email list so that we can send you PDFs like this. Welcome to season 2 of Visuals at Work. I really think this is going to be a whole new level of coming into your hearts and homes, inspiring you with visual thinking so that you can think about, how can I use these visuals at work? In the comments below, tell me how you might use today's little handout for your own visuals at your work. Where might you use this in your classrooms? Maybe you might use this with your team. Maybe you might use this with your leaders. I'd love to hear how you're using it. I am so excited. Let's go back to our little visual today of the one that we reviewed. So today we reviewed these notes. These were by Dean Graziosi, and it was his opening pre-note sessions for Time to Thrive. It was an amazing challenge. I look forward to seeing you next time, and grab some paper, grab some markers, and draw with me again. And if you don't want to draw with me, print out the PDF and maybe start a little notebook of some of these ideas that you can start using to unlock more visual thinking at your work. I look forward to seeing you next time, and have a great day.